Is the sound always go? Does it? Is the sound always go? Does it? No, is the sound always... No. Why is the rain still playing in the background? No. Playing in the background. No. Oh no, it's just me listening to my own stream. Okay. Well, that's good that it's not still there. But, you know, I think I kind of want to... I'll turn it down really low, though. Just because it is, you know, it is still there. Like the rain sounds. 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 Gosh dang it. I listened to my voice once and then it just keeps repeating for minutes. I'll turn that down just a little bit more. The problem is that I can't actually hear it on my OBS. I can only hear it if I'm watching the stream, which is just really annoying. Okay. Wish you up. Should be good now, right? Yep. I can't hear the rain at all now, though. Let's turn it up just slightly more. Alright, that's good. That's fine. Alright. Usually I start my own stream with a song, but I figured this way, you know, rather than using this song to give time for people to join, I'll do like a little intro thing, since some other people do like a little intro thing too as well. I don't know. Anywho, as tradition, I'll sing a song just because I like to. But no one else is here yet, so it'll give more time before we start. Beauty queen of only 18, she had some troubles with herself. He was always there to help her. She always belonged to someone else. And drove for miles and miles and I wound up at your door. I had you so many times, but somehow I want more. I don't mind spending every day out on your corner in the pouring rain. Look for the girl with the broken smile. Ask her if she wants to stay a while. She will be loved. She will be loved. Yeah. Tap on my window, knock on my door. I wanna make you feel beautiful, yeah. No, I tend to get so insecure. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's compromises and moves so slow. Yeah. My heart is full and my door's always open. Come anytime you want, yeah. I don't mind spending every day out on your corner in the pouring rain. No, look for the girl with the broken smile. Ask her if she wants to stay a while. She will belong. She will belong. She will belong. She will belong. I know where you hide. I know that you wrong. Know all of the things that make you who you are. I know that goodbye means nothing at all. Comes back and begs me, catch her every time she holds. Yeah, tap on my window, knock on my door. I want to make you feel beautiful. That's a good song. I like that one. It's actually the first song that I learned on guitar. Although, learn is kind of... Actually, let me get my guitar real quick. It was because of songs like this, just like this simple guitar that is just like really nice and I guess simple. The problem is that I don't think I remember how to play this. Yeah, no clue. No, I don't remember at all. Nope. Just put this away. Yeah, I learned that song and went around on VR chat just playing that. So that's what I did, because whenever you want to be popular and whatnot, you just go around playing music for people that don't care and aren't listening. Anywho, VR chat is a completely different world. I very much did not appreciate or enjoy it at all, and honestly don't really want to go into it. But what I will go into, do Beat Saber? What do you mean? I don't have Beat Saber. Can you actually play Beat Saber without VR? That'd probably be terrible. I'm gonna assume not. I'm almost positive that you need Beat Saber in order to or you need VR to do Beat Saber. Let me just actually you know what? I'm gonna Google it. Does Beat Saber? Oh, come on. Beat Saber is strictly a VR game, yeah. Yeah, so I can't play Beat Saber. I thought you had VR. No, not me. Cherry does. Let's see. Who else does? I think Spike might? I'm not sure. Also, it says, Werewolf Roy, that you are a first-time chat So I don't know if you are following me or whatnot, but you might have me confused with someone else, some other sparrow or something, or just accidentally clicked on the wrong stream. Um, let's see. Probably should do something rather than just sitting here and chatting. The problem is that I do enjoy just sitting and chatting because that's what I'm not a very good multitasker. So some of my best thinking and talking is done when I'm literally just sitting, and I can just think and talk. Let's see. I could. You're my son. Oh, wow. Thank you, Roy. I've never been adopted before, so thank you. Um. Oh, shoot. I'm actually water. Hold on. I'm gonna go get water. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, I have not streamed in a long while. Also, I see that Boss Sunday is in chat as well. There's a couple things that I wanted to talk about just because it's been a while. But something that I've realized is that I've never actually truly gone into detail of kind of like my background of things and whatnot. So I think this, I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm thinking about what I want to say. But what is that? Was weird. I wanted to give a little backstory. Just go into detail a little bit on who I am and kind of what I'm doing here, what's going on, that sort of stuff. Those of you who know me and have seen me stream before and me on other people's streams before, I'm a very giving person. I like to be friendly, but I think the reason why I am the way I am is a bit confusing, so I thought I'd go into that just a little bit. I am a byproduct of two very unique individuals. Both my parents went into the military. My mother was in the Navy. My father was a Marine. Guess how they met? Yes, in the military. They met in the military. My father is a very focused man. I wouldn't say that he's a workaholic, but about 90% of the day I see him working. Him and I work about 10 hours a day. And then when we go home, he's at the computer doing time cards and responding to emails and looking up information, making orders, that sort of thing. The other small percentage of the day, he's usually just sitting on the couch, watching a movie, checking out YouTube videos, spending time with my mom. You sound exactly like my son. Oh. Hello, Father. My dad is, he's very focused with what he does. He spends a lot of time planning and working and accomplishing a lot of things, There's rarely a time where I see him just not doing anything. He likes to keep busy, around the house, gardening and, fixing things and cooking, He's a very, It's hard to describe because he's very orientated in what he's accomplishing, and he makes good plans, and he's a great leader. I do a lot of good work working for him, not as a son, but as an employee. I think we work together quite well. He tells me what to do, and I do it. It's just kind of our dynamic, and I'm really good at that. My mother is on the opposite end of the scale. She is very caring and giving and empathetic. Not sympathetic, empathetic. Sympathetic means that you are willing to sympathize for people. You're offering care and service. Empathetic people are actual people that feel other people, what they're going through and whatnot. And I'm a combination of both of these people. My mom is a very fun person, very weird and silly, which is really great. People like my father and I need those people in our lives to, keep us from, degrading into monotony, and, that's why I really appreciate some of the more fun people that I hang out with, because of the company that they bring. But me being made of those two people is quite confusing at times, because I feel like I need to be doing something. If I'm not working on something or accomplishing something, I feel like a waste of space. I care for other people and want to do stuff for other people, mostly because of my own experiences and whatnot. My sister is completely different being than me. She's a social butterfly. She's very social. I would consider to say that I'm antisocial. I do enjoy other people, but more on the fact that I don't necessarily know how to make myself happy. So I enjoy being around other people because, I like seeing them happy and, enjoying them for who they are. And just being around other people is nice. I feel, in general, I believe that humans are social creatures, They don't necessarily require, interacting with other beings, but we do enjoy it. That's why social media is so popular. And we have all these different things like celebrities and idols, But me, personally, I don't work well with others, for the most part. And I think that's just sort of how I work, and has nothing to do with, necessarily how I've been brought up or my bad experiences. I think that's just kind of how I work. Something of note that I think I've mentioned before is that, and I feel like this is also something that's possibly more geared towards guys than girls, is that we don't like being alone, but we do like having our alone time. Like, we want to do stuff, and we don't necessarily want to do it alone, but we want to do our thing, and we have a hard time of like drawing people in and inviting people into whatever our thing is. Maybe it's video games, maybe it's D&D, maybe it's something nerdy. There's always going to be something that's like kind of his thing, and so that stuff we kind of not necessarily hide from people, but it's not easy to bring people into that or show people that, because we don't care about most things, but that thing's like super important or whatever. So, like the piece of advice that people give when you're dating, when you're really young, when a guy asks you to play video games, that means that you're super important to them because they're sharing that special thing with you, and they want you to be a part of it. And that's kind of the gist that I'm going for, is that it is hard to bring people into your life, but in general, I think we enjoy people and want to, one hand, share the things that we like with others, not to like gather a horde to, be like, yes, we all agree with you, but more of the fact that, things are better with others, So, when guys like to be alone, and again, this isn't specifically for only guys, or this isn't even all guys, but in general, we like to do our own thing, but we don't like to be alone, So, it's nice to have people. The best way I can describe this is, most of the time when work is done, I go up into my room and I start working on stuff, and I'm, maybe writing stories or filling out information for my next D&D game, or on a rare chance I'm actually playing a video game. But I'm kind of doing all that stuff by myself. And, I know other people are in the house, and, I could go hang out with them and chat, and, watch movies, or, just read, nearby, or, but there's something about, like, being separate, but, like, still having them around. But when my parents actually leave the house, and they go off on a weekend together or something, and I am just alone, that's a difference. That's a big difference. And I'm not sure why, because you're doing the exact same thing that you would be. You're doing your thing by yourself, all alone. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely, if that makes sense. And honestly, and this usually happens more often with socialization events and meeting with other people, especially in large groups, is that I don't truly feel lonely until I'm surrounded by other people. Being alone, you can kind of accept and work with that, but it's difficult to be around other people and have them doing their own thing and, enjoying each other's time and company and having none of them notice or care about you. It's easy to avoid that when they're like thousands of miles away, So, joining large groups, even just Discord voice calls where it's like 20 people, I just can't handle that. And that's one of the reasons why VR chat was so uncomfortable for me. Really, any sort of social event I struggle with, but I don't think that necessarily has to do with the kind of person I am, but because of my experiences, which is why I'm trying to change and do it. I was a big YouTuber for a while, and it was fun to, record stuff by myself and then spend time tinkering and editing it and doing fun stuff and then producing a video. A video is something that you can watch at any point in time and can go back to, and, you can enjoy it. A stream like this is really only enjoyable while you're there. You can go back and watch the VOD, but it's not the same, There's a big difference. And that's why when I started streaming, was just streaming into the void, like I'm doing now, it's a real toll on your mental health. It's degrading, and it hurts, and just takes a lot out of you. That's the reason why I kind of stopped doing it for a while. The other aspect of this is, I never wanted to be a streamer. I don't enjoy streaming. Every part of my being is not like, none of this sounds interesting to me or is fun. And I honestly don't understand why other people do. Being a content creator, being a famous person, an idol, putting yourself up on a pedestal is so challenging and degrading. Trust me, I've been on both ends of the scale of being bullied and being idolized. Being put on a pedestal and being considered less than dirt. None of it's good. Because it's all prejudice. It's all, this mental imagery and people making judgments and thinking about you in ways that aren't true. And I would go as far to say that someone looking down on you is not near as bad as someone looking up to you. Not because it's hard to respond to that and achieve that, but when people look at you and say bad things about you, call you names, and see things in you that are bad but aren't there, at least you can be like, those kids are suffering and dealing with their own things and are just, doing that to make themselves feel better, and they are saying things that aren't true, and I can overcome that. But when someone looks up to you, when someone believes that you're the solution to all of their pain and hurt, when someone thinks of you as this god and thinks you're perfect, but it's not true, I think that hurts more. It's one of the reasons why I really stopped, uplifting other people. Paying compliments is a very tricky road, because you're either a weirdo, stinky, stranger, stalker, creeper, all these different things, or, you're really putting too much on to people that they get stressed out and can't live up to. Constantly berating people, bullying them, and saying that you're complimenting them, well, it's just mean. And that's why I really hated the cute phase, especially on VR chat and VTubing and whatnot, when people would be like, yo, you're cute, you're cute, you're cute, shut up, you're cute, It's still bullying, guys. You're still harassing them. And you're hiding it with the guise of, well, it's compliments, so it's good. It's just bad. Going back to me, my history, my family. My sister was born first. She's older than me. She was a screamer when she was born. She was the kind of baby that would cry all day, all night, for no reason. There was a day where my mom came out of the house to meet my dad coming out of the car after work. Halfway, he had just gotten out of the car, just started walking towards the door. My mom was there holding my sister in her arms, shoved my sister into my father's arms, and my mom said, "You deal with her." And then she got in her car and drove up because she just needed to get away. Being at home isn't as easy as you would think. It becomes a prison, and people like my mom need to get out. I'm not one of those people. I could spend days in my room just doing this stuff. I mean, there's so much that I want to do. I want to record stuff, my voice, videos. I want to edit. I want to write stories. There's like a lot of stuff for me to work on that I can distract myself with. Like, I don't need to go anywhere or do anything. And even if I was trapped at home, I could just go downstairs and, clean around the house. But some people really do need to get out, But my dad was watching my sister, and she was screaming, and, he made sure that she was changed and fed, all the proper things, but she would just scream. She would just yell and yell and yell. And my dad would, go sit down and start working on stuff, and she'd be in the other room just screaming and bawling her head off. Then after a while, she stopped. My dad stopped what he was working on, listened, didn't hear anything, walks over to the bedroom and peeks through the gap in the door, right where the hinges are, there's like that little gap in the door. Peeks through and sees her in the crib, and she's sitting up, looking around, doesn't see anything. He steps into the door, peers past the door, and she's looking off. And then when she turns and sees him, she starts crying and yelling, and he's like, "No." And she stops. He caught her in the act. Because my sister is like my mother. She needs attention. She needs people to care about her, to think about her, And that's not wrong, It's just different people being different. I don't think it's any way, shape, or form bad to have people that, to need to have people look at you or care about you or be thinking about you. And I'm not saying that that's what streamers are. More often than not, though, I think some people find it easier to socialize if they need that. To take a quote from Comey Can't Communicate. There are people that struggle to communicate, but because they struggle with this communication does not mean that they do not wish for long-lasting relationships. And I think that's people like me. That, I can speak. I can speak freely even. But it's hard for me to relate to people. To understand people, or have people understand me. And gain that closeness and understanding and actually relate to people on a level that is healthy and common. Most people can walk around and smile at people and, introduce themselves and just talk. I was never able to do that in school. And I feel like that is an important aspect of life and growing up. That just experiencing that communication and interaction with other living beings is important and has a specific. I keep using the word toll. I mean, it does wear on people a bit, but at the same time, I think it is important to have those connections. Otherwise, you don't quite learn or understand things the way that you probably should. I'm talking a lot, goodness. But anywho, my sister was very much the queen of the household. She required much attention and needed people to be talking to her and looking at her and touching her, and that's all well and good. And you would assume that, that's a typical thing for children, especially toddlers. Even babies require much attention. This was different. Babies require attention because they don't know how to take care of themselves and, need assistance with just about everything that they do, from their bowel movements to, having their clothes changed, all this different stuff, hygiene and health, all that stuff is important, but the physical interactions between people, skin to skin contact is important. That's why handshakes, hugs, kisses are such a big part of our community as a whole among humans. Because it is just good. That's why, holding someone or just snuggling, sitting together side by side on a couch or in someone's lap is like such a closer, more intimate thing, because there's something there. There's a communication that happens wordlessly when you are physically touching someone. And I won't go deep into that because I'm not an expert in that. Because of my experiences, I do not enjoy or appreciate any sexual interaction. And I don't mind going into more detail, but I feel as though I probably could not on this specific platform. I feel as though Twitch is very much not pleasant with those kinds of discussions, especially because of my specific experiences, as you would consider them not legal, unfortunately. And that is the reason why I do not enjoy those kinds of interactions, but I will go into it no further. However, when I was born, my sister was very upset that the new baby required more handling and care and, all this sort of stuff that my sister got for free is now being turned away. She was about 3, She was not a toddler anymore. She was capable of feeding herself, using the bathroom herself, changing her clothes, bathing herself, the typical child mischief of, not brushing her teeth when she should, or not cleaning her room, stuff like that maybe, but she was, all intents and purposes, capable of handling herself. So when I came into the picture and I needed that sort of attention, and she technically didn't, I thoroughly understand how she felt. She was unhappy, to say the least. There was even a moment where my parents had left the room while I was on the changing table, and she had climbed up and knocked me off. And that's why I have a dent in my head. And my brain don't work too good sometimes. I have a specific problem with my limbic system. The limbic system is the part of your brain that handles memories. The understanding of information, how it is then coded and sorted, then stored, and then how that stored information is recalled. So there's three things there. There's taking in information, storing of information, and recalling information, which is why school was hell for me. Because I don't learn things like other people. Most people don't. But I have a hard trouble understanding or relating to things. And even if I do learn stuff, it's even then difficult to remember that stuff because my RAM is not very good. My storage is limited. And, memories get lost or deleted, and, even then it gets lost in the system, and it's then hard to find. The good thing is that my sister eventually learned that she was in charge of me. She was the boss, She was the lowest totem of the food chain until I came along. And so she got to be in charge and important, and that was good for her. That was cool for her. But just as she was needing and desiring to be important and cared about and handled, I was not. I was a very quiet baby. I did all the things that I was supposed to. When I was born, I was kind of quiet, but I did cry, which was healthy. When I was hungry, I would cry, but once I was fed, I was quiet. I was a very quiet baby. I slept when I was supposed to. I pooped regularly when expected. All this stuff that, The reason why I'm explaining this is because ever since I was born, I've always been doing what's expected of me. And as I grew up and got older and saw other people with their problems and issues, and especially with how my sister required more attention and effort, I slowly but surely learned how to not require much, to be content with very little. And more than that, moving into schooling and interacting with other people, I suffered greatly from trying to interact with other people. We'll say that my bullying experience far outweighed anything that I learned at school. So I also learned how to be invisible. I learned how to survive without much food. I was always thinking about other people and, how are they going to think? How are they going to react? Are they going to hate me? And more often than not, almost always, I considered that any interaction that I had with other people was not going to turn out well for either me or them. So I abstained. I completely hid away all my life from other people. I fell in love. I have attempted to make friends. Little things. But they come and go. And I understand that. It is tough, though. The biggest thing is that I'm still trying to figure out how to function normally. Because, as you've seen, I give too much. On an unhealthy amount. I spend money, I spend time, I spend effort, I spend all of me until there's nothing up, because I want to give so much, but you could never give enough that people would want to give back, and that's normal. It is healthy to think about yourself, to think of yourself first and consider other people later. That is normal. I am not. There's probably a lot more that I could go into, but I'm sure none of it's more interesting than that. I simply wanted to go into this just because I felt like it was prevalent. I have not explained much of who I am and where I come from and why I'm the reason I am. Very much at all. And these aren't excuses. This is barely even an explanation. But it is something that sort of, I guess, kind of defines a little bit of who I am. And, I could go into more detail and share more stories and whatnot, but I feel like that would be much more interesting with other people. I specifically wanted to do just this bit, going into, all that information, just because I hadn't before, and it was going to be a lot of just me talking, and I didn't want to do that while I had other people with me. So, I think I'm good with leaving this the way it is now. So yeah, it's been almost an hour, but I've just kind of been going through this, and we'll talk more later. I want this to simply be, me talking, but going into further detail, not just skimming the surface. That's what expound means. To expound simply means to explain more, to keep talking, to go into further detail. It's less of a definition and more of a more thorough explanation. It's a nice word. It's a word that I found a lot of words when I was young. Spent a lot of time reading, studying, and learning by myself. It's really, really why I like books. Partly because it's an escape, and that's also partly the reason why I got so good at people watching. Not just because people watching was the only thing I could do, but I also spent a lot of my life wondering, wishing, and hoping that I could be like other people. Pretending to be someone or something else, what their life is, what's going on with them, and how I wish I could be like them. So I started thinking, well, what would I do in their position? How would I think and feel if I was in their shoes? that kind of stuff, and how much better it would be than where I am currently. But in all that time, never once did I wish for someone to be in my shoes. I never wanted to trade places. I just wanted to not exist and for me to be where they are. That's better than where I am. And that's when I realized that I would never wish this painless life on someone else. And that's the reason why I realized why I'm here. Because I am the only one that could be where I am, doing what I'm doing, experiencing what I've experienced, learning what I've learned, and perspective is important, and it's amazing. That's the reason why some people live comfy, cushy lives and are idiots and don't know what they're doing. And some people, good people, suffer and have terrible lives. And I would go as far to say that there's definitely a correlation there, but, honestly, I think it's the people that suffer the hardest that learn the most. And that's the reason why they are good people, is because, the common phrase is, the people with the biggest smiles have the deepest scars. And that's assuming that they're trying to hide those scars. That they're trying to pretend that pain doesn't exist, and they're just trying to move past it and ignore it and do their own thing. And I relate to that. But also, what I relate to the most is that I've learned from that, from those bad experiences, that pain, that hurt. And I don't want to live on that. I don't want other people to experience that. That's the reason why I spread happiness and joy. It's because I don't want anyone else to suffer through what I did alone. You can't save everyone. You can't make everyone happy. You can't fix someone. And even if you could, should you? But what you can do is be there for someone. Not because you want to help shelter them or, to carry the weight for them, but sometimes just not being alone is great. It's hard sometimes to share things and offer advice or help people in specific ways, but sometimes just sharing who you are with someone else, giving someone else a different perspective or something else to experience and learn from can be a lot. I know, as I am, that even the simplest things, like a smile, can change someone's life forever. Just the casual passing glances or things that people do have big impacts, even when they don't realize it. And I think it's because of this, these small little things that make up who we are, they can really leave a lasting impression on other people, is so important, and that's the reason why we need to share who we are. And I've told you how much I don't like streaming, but that's the reason why I'm here. And maybe this is doing no good. Maybe I'm not reaching out to anyone. Maybe I'm not connecting to anyone or helping them or sharing anything important that would help them or, anything. But at least I'm trying. And I think that's important. It's a lot to think about. But you don't have to think about it. You don't have to, take stock or hold on to such things for eternity. You can just simply allow yourself to, experience life the way that it simply is. I know for one, I used to hold on to the smallest things, possibly because I didn't have much, but it really is unhealthy to simply, hold on to things and not let them go. And, memories are important, but only because of the ones that you make. So you should keep making memories. Firsts are always such like a very important thing to people. My first kiss, first date, or first car. Trying to think of things that aren't specifically, relationship related, but firsts are great, but you don't have to hold off and wait until the perfect event to be your first. That's why you should keep trying lots of things. Keep going, keep dating people, keep getting other cars, trying out different things. Try new outfits, new hairstyles. Keep looking at new books and meeting new people. Don't just stop there. And maybe that one memory will last forever because it is the best that you've ever had. But you could still have better opportunities if you keep looking, if you keep trying. So don't stop. Don't give up. Keep making new memories. And that will only help exemplify how great those ones were. Or you'll meet something that was even better. So that's what I want to end off with. Just simply keep going. Keep trying. You got this, and you're worth it. Alright, everybody. If I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.